Please welcome to the show Pitt defensive lineman and hometown hero, Sean Fitzsimmons. Sean, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're having a pretty good one. We're starting to get a little antsy for the season. I can only imagine you feel that tenfold.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just can't wait for it to start.
Now you said that you guys have pretty much been in the swing of things already. You're just waiting for uh, you know, post Independence Day to really get cracking. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've been training all summer long since winter, and after the fourth, it really starts going, getting ready for the season.
Yeah, then it feels real. That's when the countdown to the first week starts to
Yeah.
get a little bit lower. It's more in sight. So we're
Mhm.
so excited for the Wofford game. What's the mindset of the team right now?
Oh man, big goals this year. We want to be ACC champs. Just have a dominant year.
Yeah, we you weren't here to the first time that we won an ACC championship, but the guys seem to like their rings. So
Oh yeah.
if we could ascertain a few more of those, I think that'd be pretty cool. But no, we love that you guys are starting with lofty expectations, in June.
Mhm.
So your ears must have been ringing the last few times we interviewed Pitt offensive and defensive linemen because guys have been singing your praises to the mountaintops. We always ask them who is going to surprise us this year, and every single one of them, without fail, has said, "Watch what Sean Fitzsimmons does this season." So, can you tell us what is going on behind closed doors? Like what has the boys buzzing about you?
I don't know, just probably just what I do in practice. I put in a lot of work, just to be able to play, try to get on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have such a deep, rotation at defensive line that it's probably hard to crack, especially for someone your age. What do you see your role being in the rotation this year?
Just, obviously, it would be it would be great if I could start, work for that. But if that doesn't happen, just be a nice rotation player, get in some snaps and just produce when I'm in there.
Yeah, that's a common theme we hear from guys on the defensive line. Although you might not be the starter, like the first guy on the field, but you're playing damn near as much as that guy who starts, and it's really
Mhm.
beneficial for everybody. Is that what you've gathered in your first glimpses of playing time and a little bit more during the spring, I guess?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we got about like five, sometimes even six guys in our D line rotation. So I mean, just to get in there and get plays, just go in there, do your best, and try to produce, help the team.
So before we get into the weeds a little bit more about this season, the team, it was just official visit season. A lot of visitors came to campus. What do you remember about your visit at Pitt?
It was awesome at Pitt. My OV. I mean, I recently I just hosted Ty Uhas last week, so just going. It's a bunch of fun, But it's a good time. The OVs. I mean, my first night though, I got stuck in the elevator at
Oh
Bridges.
yeah,
Now that's where I'm at. So that was a big memory. So I mean, but the OVs they're awesome. They're fun. You show the recruits a good time. Just get some shows what Pitt's all about.
So you were a local kid, um, at growing up and at the time of your recruitment. Uh, did Pitt really have any competition? I guess a better way of asking: were you a Pitt fan growing up?
I was. My pap, he actually had season tickets, so I went to a lot of games when I was younger. So when Pitt finally got that offer, I waited like I had to be off for a couple months, but I always kind of knew I was going to be coming here.
Did Pitt have like any competition at all? Because when I hear season tickets, I think like, yeah, no brainer.
I mean, I wanted to see. what I could get, see what other schools. But Pitt was always in the back of my mind and was probably always my first choice. So it really wasn't any competition. But I just wanted to see what else I could get.
I mean, speaking of no competition, your senior year, you put up quite the stat line. I see 123 tackles, 49 tackles for loss, and 21 sacks. What was it like going into every game? Were you just like another day at the office, walk in the park, kill the quarterback?
I mean, basically, I try to treat every game the same, even no matter what the competition was. I just wanted to go out there and make plays and produce and help my team get a win.
And that you did. That you did.
How does a defensive end break 120 tackles? Like, did they not block? Did they not block you at all, or were you just that much of a freak?
I'm sure they
going
tried.
up against. Yeah, I've never heard of a defensive lineman having that kind of a stat line.
I mean, I just went out there and did my thing. I just wanted to make plays, and that's what I did in high school. So, trying to translate it when I get to playing here.
So you won the Bill Fralick Award in high school, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that goes to the Western Pennsylvania or Whippeal guy, the best lineman in the area. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Since you have come to Pitt and I assume learned a little bit more about Bill Fralick and his legacy, has that kind of award come to mean more to you and you've come to appreciate it more?
Oh, 100%. Bill Fralick, he's a legend. So, I mean, even when I won in high school, I knew it was an honor to win that award, and it still is have won it. So it was just awesome winning that. That was like a big goal of mine during my senior year because it was like it's still a new award.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been around for a couple years, but that was a big goal of mine to win that award.
And speaking of Whippeal legends, you were, I want to say, elementary school age whenever Jordan Whitehead was taking the field at Central Valley. What was that like, looking up to a guy like that and seeing him go to Pitt and becoming a hometown hero?
Oh, that was awesome. Those teams, watching them when I was younger, it was just awesome to experience that. And for me to be able to go out and do that in high school just like he did, and being at Pitt, I mean, it's amazing.
That's pretty good company.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Central Valley hasn't been around that long, but you guys have churned out some dogs.
Yeah.
Where would you rank yourself? I know you've won 2 state championships. You were the Post Gazette's Player of the Year, Fab 22. Where do you think you rank in the history of Beaver area, Monaca area, Pitt athletes?
I mean, I want to be, I want to say I'm number one, but I mean, Whitehead, he speaks for himself right now, what he's done. So, I mean, probably 2 or 3, me and Stefan, he's up here too, so, I mean, me or him, number 2 or 3, Whitehead's number 1 right now for Pitt guys from Central Valley.
Was there anything that you remember from his high school playing days that just still sticks with you? Was it like maybe a play or something he did back whenever he was one of the top recruits in the country?
It was I forget which game it was, but he was at running back and he hurdled this guy. It was just, I thought that was the coolest thing, hurdle, and there was a sweet picture of it too. So I love that play.
Yeah, I mean, we're a little spoiled growing up in going to Whippeal schools because all of us have memories of like watching guys who ended up at. I know for us, we went to North Hills, so Andrew Johnson, which is a name you might not remember, he was a Miami recruit, and we just got to watch him put up 200 yards a game, and we take it for granted growing up in this area and getting to see so many legends. How young of an age did you realize like this is a sport I want to dedicate my life to, and this is a tradition I want to carry on, and I want to make it as a football player?
I mean, it was probably since I was real young. Growing up, I played football, basketball, and baseball. Football was always my best sport, and football. My family loves football. I mean, my grandpa played at UTEP. My dad played at Indiana State. My other grandpa played at Penn State and IUP. So I mean, football has always been it for me. So I always knew from a young age, like that's a dream of mine to go into college, D1, and the NFL, hopefully in the future.
Damn, I had no idea the Fitzsimmons has had that kind of pedigree.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Talk about a football family. Was there a moment that you knew like this is for me, or was there a moment you thought like maybe I could go D1?
I mean, I don't know. I was always just one of the bigger guys. I was pretty dominant on the field when I was playing. So I mean, I just always kind of had it in the back of my mind. I was the goal to go D1, and then my freshman year when I started getting like invited to camps and stuff, we got invited to a couple spring ball practices at places. That's when I was like, oh, this is real. This is my goal. I'm going to pursue it.
Yeah, I have to imagine like if you were posting 120 tackles, 20 sacks, 50 TFLs as a senior in high school, like you probably put up some almost comical like middle school stat lines. Like they probably had you out there for a half and then had to pull you for like other kids' safety. What was that like having you run around, with when kids were only about knee high?
I mean, middle school was fun. Our team actually wasn't. We weren't like we were in high school because I mean we were split up. Still, we still had a midget team, and then there was the middle school team. And I was always on the middle school team because I weighed too much to play midgets. So, but yeah, I remember, a couple games I had some outrageous numbers. Like I remember the one game I had like 18 tackles in middle school. It was in one game. So,
Did you play both ways?
always, all
Yeah.
throughout youth and in high school.
What were you on offense?
I was a guard.
That's a lot less fun than D end. I see why you
Oh,
stuck.
100%.
I see why you stuck with what you stuck with. So you played D end all through high school, and you were obviously ridiculous at it. But when you came to Pitt, they've sort of transitioned you down into the middle of the line. What
Mhm.
what is that conversation like when they tell you that's what they want to do? And two, what do you then have to do to make that transition successful?
Well, I mean, I always kind of knew I was going to be a D tackle in college because I mean, my senior year of high school, I was 285, and I mean, there's defense in the NFL that they weigh less than that. So I always knew I would be a D tackle. So there wasn't really a conversation. I already knew, and I already knew that's what I was going to do.
So, did it not take a lot like, you didn't have to eat too many meals or pick up your lifting routine at all to slide down?
Oh no, not one bit. I mean, I basically I'm 290 right now, so it's only a 5 pound difference from what I was in high school. So
Well, that's good to hear. We're really good buddies with, like, Elijah Zeiss, who played a couple years before you, and they switched him from receiver and linebacker, and Pitt does that a lot.
Mhm.
Safeties to linebackers, receivers to linebackers, move linemen around, and it always sounds like a massive pain, like, you can't eat enough to
Mhm.
get to the size that the coaches want you at, so it sounds like you got it easiest of everyone we've talked to about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't even have to do put on weight or nothing. I came in already ready. So
So, you mentioned that you were showing Tyler Uhas around. I noticed the parallels immediately. Whippeal kids, defensive ends in high school, maybe defensive tackles at the next level. Is that are you going to be helping him make that transition as well?
yeah, I definitely will help him if he. I honestly I don't even know what he's going to play D end or D tackle, but if he makes the switch to D tackle, I'll do anything to help him out make that transition.
Yeah, it seems like you're in a pretty good spot right now. That interior defensive line room has a lot of veteran leadership. What's it like with all those guys that have so many snaps under their belt?
Oh, those guys, they're great. I love them all. I mean, coming in here, you don't know nothing about the defense or whatever. They help me out, learn all the plays. They did walkthroughs with me, help me on the board, watch film. And they still do that now. So it's just great having them to look up to and learn from.
So when you came to Pitt and you started, playing with those guys, who was the first one that you saw and said, "Oh, I am playing at a different level of football. College and high school are not the same."
I mean, basically any one of the O linemen on our team, like going against, Carter Warren was crazy.
Uh-huh.
I think, and any of the starters we have now and from last year, that we had, I mean, they're just you don't play those type of guys throughout high school often, like 6'5", 300, all of them really are that. And in high school, I'm going against, smaller. I'm bigger than them most of the time. Now they're bigger than me. So it was a change up, but you get used to it.
What is it? Help us picture. What does it look like when you have a true freshman defensive end or tackle going up against a guy who's like months removed from getting selected in the NFL draft? Like you had to wear a couple, didn't you?
Oh, 100%. When I first got here, you get put down sometimes, but it's all learning. Get used to it. But then once you get comfortable in there, it's just like playing ball like you always have.
So we've had a few guys in the defensive line on the podcast over the past few weeks. We're going to ask for your perspective on this question. We asked them too. However, the battle has been between the O-line and D-line this year because there's some new faces that we're really excited to see, but we're curious to see what it's like so far with these new rotations. Who's winning more of the battles from your perspective?
I mean, they're pretty even, because we're both solid, but the defense, we go in there, we're killers, so I say we got the upper hand right now.
It wouldn't feel like, no offense to the offensive line, but it wouldn't feel like a Pitt team if you came out and said like, yeah, they're kind of stifling us on the offensive front. So that's good to hear. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So to kind of turn our view to this season, I think, we're all the boys are buzzing ready for the 2023 Pitt Panthers. Have you set any personal goals outside of getting an ACC championship ring?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to when I get in, I just want to produce, just make some plays, get TFLs, get sacks. That's the fun part of it. So, those are my goals. When I go out there, just produce.
Absolutely. So anytime that we've asked someone else this question, they've said you. So you can't say yourself, but who on the defense, doesn't just have to be the line, is going to surprise Pitt fans this year?
I think the Kai Johnson had a great spring ball. I think he's one to look out for this year.
We love hearing that about Pittsburgh kids.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a package yet that's just all WPIAL kids, Dayon, Nakai, and then throw you and Elliot Donald in the middle?
I mean, that would be awesome. We don't have it yet, but I mean, who knows? That could always be a possibility.
Talk to Coach Partridge for us. I think he'll try to squeeze you in one of these games.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome having all the all Pittsburgh D line.
Oh, I know. The people of Pittsburgh would go crazy for that. We are suckers for seeing Pittsburgh everywhere. Even, I mean, it's already a Pittsburgh team, but just getting WPIAL kids out there, getting to kind of lose our minds. Yeah, we love Pittsburgh representation.
100%. I love when we get new recruits that commit from WPIAL.
Well, Sean, hopefully we see you and the other three in the Pittsburgh package hunting a quarterback at a stadium near us coming this fall. And we really appreciate hearing from you. It's been great to kind of dig into, what all the other guys have seen from you and get all excited about the season. But before we let you go, we wanted to play a game that we play with all of our football guests. It's called All Out Blitz. We'll ask you some rapid fire questions, and you can either answer them rapid fire, or if you have a good story, we love a good story. I think that'd be something you're interested in.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Awesome. Let's do it. All right. First question. What will your EA Sports NCAA football rating be when the game drops next summer?
Hopefully I have a good year, so it's high, but I don't know, to be honest. Hopefully in the 80s.
In the 80s?
Yeah,
That's some good motivation. Have a big year so your rating looks good next year.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. What is your favorite Coach Partridge quote?
Oh, man. Oh, there's a lot. Probably when we're in the middle of practice and he feels like we're not going at full speed, he says, "You feel the heat, it means we got to get going or we're going to get punished, get them up downs going."
That's one way to get the boys buzzing.
Mm-hmm.
What is your pregame meal?
My pregame meal, I usually, like throughout high school and that, I really never ate before games. But now that we have dinner and stuff before the games, I just usually have like a steak that they give us. So that's usually just one steak and that's it.
Can't go wrong with some quality meat.
Oh, yeah.
If you could replace Sweet Caroline with any song, what would it be?
Oh, man.
We're passing you the aux on the sideline.
I don't know, probably that gets everyone going. Probably some rap song gets everybody jumping. I can't even think of one right now. But yeah, something like that to get everybody just get them going.
Are you pro or anti Mo Bamba on third downs?
I'm pro. I like hearing that. The people in the stadium love it, so it sounds like they love it at least. So I'm pro Mo Bamba.
Pro Mo Bamba. Heard it here first. Sean Fitzsimmons, pro Mo Bamba. It's kind of a touchy subject in the Pitt community. There's some that think like, oh, this really gets the students going, and they're the ones that we, need to get the most involved. And there are some that are saying like, that song was a flash in the pan 3 years ago. We don't need to play it 15 times a game, but we got to build that youthful base in Pitt fandom. So I might err on your side. But okay, next one. Favorite Oakland establishment?
It was probably Fuel and Fuddle, but now they're closed now. Yeah,
that's a real tragedy.
It is. Yeah,
it's tough.
Moment of silence. What is your dream NIL deal? And Fuel and Fuddle will be a good one if it was still around, but for
dream NIL
existing
deal.
establishments.
In Oakland?
Or can be anywhere. Can be anything.
Anything.
I've seen, people get like car deals, airline deals. Like that would be sweet to get one of them.
Yeah. I know Kenny and I think Cansey both got that car from Bowser. Mm-hmm. That's another one. Another thing to aim for. We're gonna get an 80 on NCAA football, and 80 to 89. We're gonna get that Bowser deal. Is there any kind of like food establishment that you would gun for?
Probably Permanis. It's Pittsburgh, and I love the Permani sandwiches, so probably Permanis.
If they don't do that already, they should just find like find like a true Yinzer on the team. You know, you, Devin Danielson, would be Dayon, but I think he's still a vegetarian, and just throw sandwiches at the boys.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I love their sandwiches. I'm pretty sure everybody else does. So just give them our way.
Awesome. And last one. Would you rather play in an on-campus stadium or a pro stadium?
I mean, it all depends on how the stadium is. Like, you can't be playing at Acrisure or Hines. You know, it's Hines, but
It's Hines.
there's I love playing at Hines, but you know, I'd have to see if there was an on-campus stadium. We'll have to see what it looks like.
We're big on campus stadium guys. We're pushing for it.
I mean, it would be sweet to have one on campus, but I mean, playing at Hines, it's awesome. You know, I played there in high school, and now we're getting to play there now. I mean, I just love playing there. So, but if we got some sweet stadium on campus, I wouldn't be too mad about that.
Yeah, do you play Hines 2 or 3 times in high school?
I only got to play there twice because my junior year, the Whippy wasn't there because of COVID.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was tough.
Weird.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for playing our dumb little game with us, and we really appreciate you joining us. We've had your name circled for a while this upcoming season, and we're really excited to watch you break out and absolutely terrorize the ACC. Oh, last final question: which quarterback are you looking forward to sacking the most?
Any of them.
Any of them? Equal opportunity sacker.
Just get them all. Just get them all.
Get them
Tell us
all.
who your favorite was at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you guys then.
Perfect. It'll be an excuse to have you back on.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. Good luck with the rest of the off season, and hail to Pitt.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me on. Hail to Pitt.